Good evening, and how are you, Facebook people? I hope you're all well, moms. Join in and tell your friends that we are now live with Edith. Please come in, and say hello. I want to recognize, especially the mom who is going to be the first one. You know, I'm always holding my phone so that I can see you coming in. At least I am seeing I'm in. So come in, ladies, salt and lighters, where we share in the same group with Edith. Come on, say hello. I'm so thankful for the day that the Lord has made. This is the first Chasing Courage for this quarter. So it's special. It's also special because it's the first time I've done an evening, and I can't wait for us to be able to be enriched by Edith through her knowledge. So as always, as you're coming in, please say hi. I want to share my screen so that it gives time for you not to miss Edith's, but you get to also know me. So allow me to share that and talk a little bit about why we are here today. So I hope you can see my screen on your end. Oh no, it's showing the wrong screen. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, so welcome to Chasing Courage. So this is a free live training. So usually we've been having warrior mom stories where moms come and share their from victim to warrior stories where they were in a place of pain and they decided to own their power and to pursue life in its fullest with God's strength. But I also bring experts in their field so that they can be able to share tips that can help us be better, whether we are running our own brands or whether you are just a stay-at-home mom who just feels I'm made for more and I want to pursue more, or just thinking differently so that in the end, when a mom is empowered, family is empowered, society is empowered. And we are saying the only way we are going to do this and bring this change is if we as mothers chase courage. We are refusing to be mediocre. We are saying that God has a standard for us that we are going to pursue. So welcome to Chasing Courage. My name is Wairimo, the Audacity Mentor. And today with me is Edith Muchiri. And this is the topic that she's going to talk about: managing money, a collection of good habits that lead to financial freedom. You know, sometimes we always assume that we must have all the knowledge in the world. Sometimes it just takes tweaking a few things so that then we can get the result that we desire. So today we are going to learn a few good habits that are necessary on our way towards financial freedom. And if you're a mother who wants financial freedom for yourself and for your family, write in the comments, I want financial freedom for myself and for my family, so that Edith can know that it is good that she's here with us today. So like I said, especially for ladies who may have seen the poster going around and we've never ever met, you've never been in this page. My name is Wairimo, the Audacity Mentor, and I am a wife and I am a mother. I'm a Christian-based mom mindset and life mentor. I love encouraging people. I love encouraging moms. I love encouraging young ladies. It is my calling. It's one of the giftings that the Lord has given me, and I am so thankful for it. I am the founder and lead mentor at the Audacious Coaching and Mentoring Services and the Audacious Mom School, which is an online school where I help equip moms for their personal growth. I'm also an author of the book Wired Weird, and it's just a book where you can get to understand how I was able to journey through discovering God's clues, God's cues, and God's calling in my story. Now, my book is out. It's actually, I have 2 copies that are behind me, and I'll tell you about my book and how you can get it later. Today is all about knowing those good habits that will work towards financial freedom. But I've been telling you it's coming. Now it's here for real, and I can't wait. There are already some people who have it on hand, but I can't wait to tell you in this group more about it. So as always, I share a verse that kind of guides us through this conversation. And the verse that I would like to share with you today, moms, as you come in, remember to say hi. Never walk away from wisdom. She guards your life. Love her. She keeps her eye on you. You know, in the Bible, wisdom is given a feminine, a femininity. It's attached to femininity. And so when you're seeing, she guards your life, love her, it's not a person, it's wisdom. And today we are going to be equipped with wisdom. And the Bible is saying that the wisdom that you are going to get, make sure you use it to guard your life, that whatever it is you're doing financially, however you're managing your money, make sure that you're managing it well, all right? Make sure that you allow wisdom to keep her eye on you, so that when you're going in the wrong track, when you're managing your money, wisdom pulls you back. And today you're going to learn good habits. So you'll definitely know when you're veering away from the right track. And then it continues and says that above all and before all, do this, get wisdom. And that's why we are gathering here tonight. I know that there are those who maybe are preparing meals for their family, or catching up with the children after work, or just catching up with work, because I know there are people who work late. Wherever it is you are, as you're listening to this conversation, the Bible is saying, get wisdom. And then write this at the top of your list, get understanding. So get wisdom, get understanding. If there's no other reason that you're going to take your time to listen to Edith as she guides you on how you can get to financial freedom, it is because the Bible says, get wisdom, get understanding. So it's not just about us, it is something that the Lord has asked of us. Now, I want to share with you some of my big wins that I always share with moms in my program. I always say that there are these big 5 things that every mother needs to get. Mom win number 1 is you need to know how to apply the first and second greatest commandments, because you're supposed to love God with all your heart, with all your might, with all your heart and everything, your strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And it gives a hierarchy of love. You need to love God. You need to know how to love yourself so that you can pass that down to your neighbor. So even when you're a mother investing in your own personal growth, it is not because it's selfish, it's because by helping yourself, you'll be able to help your neighbor. But also this love is God guided. It is not selfish, it's not based on your own selfishness. It's because you love God, and then God shows you the path that you're going to follow in loving yourself and loving your neighbor. Number 2 is owning your odd, or owning your weird. What's that thing that makes you you? Edith is going to share about, how is she a financial coach and not, a personal growth coach like me. There's a reason why, because of her knowledge, her experience, her passion, that makes her different, that makes her odd. You need to know your calling. Edith has come from her 9-to-5 job, but she has a passion of coaching people on finances. So she still pursues what she loves, both at work, but also as an extension of who she is. And so you need to know, even moms who are working, that you can still pursue something that makes you different. What's the thing that sets you apart? And when you know who you are, when you know what you are called for, when you know to love yourself, to love God, and to love your neighbor, then you will pursue a God-approved life calling. You'll be able to master goal setting, because if you're going towards the direction God wants you to go, you need to have a plan, isn't it? You need to break that plan into some goals. So as moms, you need to master goal setting and goal getting. And finally, and this is what is bringing this conversation here, you need to be a mom who is financially empowered, because as moms, we want security for ourselves, for our children, for our family. Because when there's no money, there's some sort of friction. Whether you're a single mom or a mom in a 2-parent family, money is important for helping you achieve the dreams that you have for your family. And so it's critical that one of the wins that you want to pursue is being a financially empowered woman. Okay, so before I continue, I want us to just say a short prayer as others are coming in. Remember to say hi as you're coming in. Say hi to Edith and say hi to myself. So let's say a short prayer. Remember the Bible verse we have said, get wisdom, get understanding. Allow wisdom to guide you. Love her, let her keep her eye on you. So let's say a short prayer, and then I finish my intro part, and then Edith will give you all the wisdom that she has been able to summarize for this short period that we are together. So let's pray. Almighty God, we are so thankful for setting aside this day for us. And as we have this conversation on money management, I just want to pray that for any mother who has ever had questions, that you're able to give Edith the wisdom to be able to speak to that woman. Thank you that you've given us resources in the world that we can be able to use for our growth, for the expansion of your kingdom. And Father, the habits that we're going to be taught today, give us the excitement, the zeal to be able to action each and every one of them, so that we as Christians, we as mothers in our homes, can be able to lead our families into financial freedom. Thank you for the knowledge that you have given Edith, and we cannot wait to learn from her. We cannot wait to be financially empowered women. We cannot wait to be able to provide the security that our family needs, so that we can live life in its abundance, just like Jesus Christ came and died, so that we not only just have spiritual abundance, but also even as we are living materially, dear God, that our children shall not lack, our family in general shall not lack, and we ourselves shall not lack, so that we are also able to invest in our own growth. Thank you, Almighty God. Guard our time and bring us many mothers so that they are able to learn. In Jesus' name, we pray, and believe. Amen. Amen. Thank you, ladies, for coming in. Allow me to just talk a little bit about my program, because I've been doing a countdown to my 45, and my birthday comes in a few days next week. So make sure that the offer that I have presented to you, that you're able to take it, because for this, my 8-week signature program is called Discover Your Voice and Calling, and you can find more information on bit.ly and then / Discover Voice and Calling. You can go there, but not now, after we finished with Edith, so that you can learn a little bit more. I've been talking to a lot of mothers, and that's what I would like to talk to you about. Read about it. You have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll tell you a little bit about these areas. It's an 8-week program. It's live on Zoom. You get to have access to my online hub where all the material is going to be. You get a 70+ page workbook, so that in assignment, so that you can follow through as I'm teaching. I stay one-on-one, like I never, when you enter my circle, you're with me. I keep following up with you so that you don't go back. Remember, you must get wisdom, you must get understanding. So we have to follow and make sure that you action it. And in the end, I want you to discover who you are. I want you to rediscover who you are. I pray that you also get to know the power of your story the same way I did. You get to know your voice. You get to know what message the Lord has given you. We are here because Edith has a special message. And it didn't just come from anywhere. It started with her discovering who she is, discovering what her voice is, discovering what her calling is. And now she has a message that she can be able to share with everybody. You need to design your life vision, because if you're going to be goal getters and goal setters, we need to have a life vision. We need to have a personal mission statement. And I'm going to give you one from Edith. You need to begin to design the life you desire and that God approves, because that's what I am called to help moms with. And when I'm teaching, I always use Bible verses, I use Bible stories. I can bring clients to talk about their success stories, and also just case studies of what other mothers have done that has helped them to succeed. I love to use a basics to mastery approach, because that's how I understand, those people who you give some facts and they look at you like blank. It's because they've not understood the basics. So I love doing the basics to mastery step-by-step approach. And like I said, I am an encourager, so I always use an encouraging tone. So that's a little bit about me and my work for those we've never met, and for those in my circle who need to take action on the Discover Your Voice and Calling. So make sure that you go to bit.ly or bit.ly / Discover Voice and Calling. Read about it. If you have any questions, DM me or email me, because I've left all my contacts there. And then we can be able to make sure that you get my countdown to 45 offers. All right, I'll only be 45 this one, so take advantage. So without further ado, you're here not because of hearing my stories and what I have to offer, but because there is a special message that Edith has for us to teach us how to manage money. And her subtopic is to teach us a collection of good habits that lead to financial freedom. So why should you even listen to Edith in the first place? So number one, Edith is a financial expert. She's a finance coach, but more so it comes from being a financial expert and in the in particular in the insurance industry, which is where she's been. And because of the expertise from her work experience, she's been able to find that she can also help individuals in their management of money. She loves all things financial management. Now, not all of us love math or finances. So the fact that you love it is just something that stands out, because only a person who God has put that love of finance can be able to then teach others, and in a way that they can understand and take action. So we are very happy. Now, this is what Edith says, that she has a passion to empower people to manage their money. She has a passion to empower people to manage their money so that they can get to a place of financial freedom. That's why we are here. Do you want financial freedom? Then listen, and don't just listen, act. Act on what it is that you know. So I'm very, very excited to have you, Edith. I can't wait to glean in your wisdom. I love learning, but mostly, especially in finance, I would really love, I will never not know everything. So you are most welcome to now teach us, talk to us, and just help us to get wisdom, help us to get understanding in all matters management of finance. So thank you so much, Edith. You can unmute and we can go ahead with the conversation. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Werimo. It's my privilege, it's my honor to speak to your community, and thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. Yes, I'm very passionate about money. I loved math from when I was a little girl. So even as I continue into my career, into my passion for people and how to teach them to manage their money, it's really something I just love, and I'm happy to be in this particular community this evening. I've had a busy day, but yes, this is my passion, so I have the energy for it. So maybe we can then go into it. So our topic today, as Werimo has indicated, is managing money, a collection of good habits that lead to financial freedom. And basically, managing money, anything that you don't manage, there is a management guru, Peter Drucker, who says, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And anything that you can't manage, you can't measure, then you'll never really know whether you're doing it in the best way possible. We have just come from a season of national exams in our country here. And basically that was the measure of which children will go to which schools. So we all know that these things have to be measured that way. And that does not leave money behind. Money has to be also measured for it to be of use to you. And what I believe in, and I know, is that there isn't little money, there is not a lot of money. Whether it is little or a lot, you just need to put it into the best use. And even if somebody has so much, some of us already have examples of people who have lost money or had so much money, but today you no longer see it, because money will get finished. It is a medium of exchange. It will get finished. But what are you doing to manage your money? So there is a speaker who is called Dave Ramsey, and he says you must gain control of your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. And he says this out of experience, because he once had a lot of money, he then got broke, and then at some point realized that money can just get finished. So how can we help people to manage their money? So for that reason, then, that is, I found a passion in wanting to give the financial knowledge that people need to manage their money, so that they are able to never feel a sense of lack. Because for example, if you're an entrepreneur, you start a business and shortly you realize all your money is you put in money, but you're not seeing where it is going. You are coming from borrowing every minute, and every time you borrow, shortly again, the money is not there. But are you keeping good records? So my passion for entrepreneurs especially is to empower them with the financial tools they need to manage keep good records to manage their money, to avoid being overwhelmed and being broke. And this applies as well to individuals. And I believe that once you manage your money, you'll never feel broke because you'll be on top of it. You're the one who will be, deciding, how do I spend this money? I have this pool of money. How do I spend it? So that is basically what I'll be teaching us about or talking to us about. And there is a law, the law of attraction says if you see, you keep seeing negatives, then you'll keep seeing a lot of them. If you keep seeing positives, you'll see a lot of them. So if you want to manage your money and you want to see that you're remaining with money and you want your money to fit all your needs, then you need to see it that way. Don't see yourself not having. See yourself as having enough for your needs. So let's get started. So a lot of us could be, I don't know what type of the different people that we have, but basically some of us can be entrepreneurs, others can be employees. Employees receive a salary at the end of the month, and I know that many spend it because it comes suddenly. Once they spend it so fast and shortly they are borrowing again. But it is just because they have no plan. You need a plan for you to manage, to put in your money to good use. And that applies even into business money. You need a plan. You must start with something called the budget, because budget is what will liberate us. So a budget helps you to know how to put your money, where to put in your money. It gives you control over your money. And as I start, I'll talk about 10 habits. So I'm already into one of them. One of them is really budgeting. That a lot of us could be receiving money every month, or even if you're doing business, some people pay you only at the end of the month. You could be selling goods, but people tell you, I will only pay you at the end of the month. So it means even you have to manage your finances from a monthly approach. So it's important to have a budget. And how do you design your budget? You determine how much money do you need in your family? How much money do you need in your household? How much have you been spending for your shopping? So you must pick out the type of expenditure that you would have in a month. There is electricity, there are your bills for electricity, there could be gas, there is your normal shopping. You could be requiring to buy clothes for your family, all these different types. So you list all of them. Let's know what type of expenditure will you incur in your family. So once you do that, then you now assign amounts to it. From your own experience, you have seen that this is how much I normally use for this particular type of expenditure. I know if you go filling everything, it may not even be enough. The money, the items might be more than the money you have. But after you have filled, now go back into it. Can I manage this with this much? What else can I do to manage the shopping, to reduce it from maybe whatever amount it is by about 10% or 20%, so that then this other money that I seem to have allocated to shopping can be utilized for something else. So what a budget will do is to help you gain control over your money. You're the one who is deciding how to put it. It also keeps you focused because you avoid spending money on unnecessary items. So if you've already allocated maybe some 5,000 or whatever amount towards buying clothes for that month, just for example, once you have already bought that one blouse or whatever stuff you have bought, the clothes you bought, now when you look at another clothes, you remember, I don't have now money to buy this. It is good, but I don't have money to buy it. And do you know what? Those clothes will still be in the shop even next month. They don't go away. In fact, next month you'll go and find they brought even better ones. So just assign this amount you need and just use only that for that purpose. The other way is that it makes you aware. How am I going to spend my money? Because, and I guess I've already spoken about that. So then you're able to organize your spending and your savings. Because once you budget, then the thing is that of the money that you receive, you need to save some of it. 10 to 20% you need to save it, because there will be unexpected somewhere. There will be times maybe some people come to borrow you, or even there could be a need, maybe a medical need, or something, your mother requires some money and it is urgent. Imagine you going to your savings and lending her your money, or giving her your money for that matter. Then it just, you look very well together, but it's just because you have been organizing your money in a way that it allows you some freedom. And that is what we are calling financial freedom. It comes as a set of all these habits as you go on. So the other thing is that you're able to also communicate in your family better. It enables your communication with your significant others, even your relatives, your people, your significant other. We are speaking to moms here. So there is your spouse in the family. There are your children also who have their own demands. Everybody wants something from you. But once you've already set up a budget, then you're able to know, when can I be able to buy these people, Sunday lunch? When, after, and how much can we spend so that we are able to keep up Sunday lunches all the 4 Sundays in a month? So once you determine that, then you know where to be taking them. They won't pull you to a big hotel where you'll spend all that money you had saved, or even more than you have. So you then are able to manage how you spend that money and be able to communicate with the family that this is what we have and this is how we are going to spend it. And also you're able to know when you're about to overspend your money, so that you make adjustments. Where you must spend, yes, you will spend, but you'll be knowing, I took away money from maybe the money for emergency, and I have now used it towards purchasing, shopping or entertainment. So once you know that, then it means you're already cushioning yourself. So can you imagine that you're always able to know that I'm about to overspend here, I'm about to spend money that I shouldn't be spending. And if I must spend, then I must know that I'll have to look for some money from somewhere else, from especially your savings, to come and fill in that gap. So that budgeting is really one of the biggest tools that you need to start. And I know a lot of us budget, but don't keep track, don't keep up with it. So you have that good list you prepare, but after that, after the end of month, everything goes haphazard, and you don't even know where the money is going. It's actually disappearing. I've also experienced that. In my life, I've experienced that, and I know that it happens very easily. But since I started tracking, I realized, I'm catching myself. And how do you catch yourself? You keep your records. So habit number 2 is keeping your records. So it is very important. And this is even for business. We have seen all these financial statements that, organizations then come and bring out at the end of the year, or at the end of a quarter. We have also seen, even your own business, you're asking, how did that money get finished? How did you sell those goods? You can only know that by keeping these records. So once you need to set up good records, and this is actually one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about, is really just helping people know how to set up a record that you will enjoy to keep. The other thing about records is, if you're in business, is that soon a tax person or somebody needs to do some return somewhere to the revenue authority. So you need to have some record that will help to know how the revenue that came in and how the money was spent. The other thing is that it helps you grow. You can imagine, if you don't know how you're putting in the money, how will you grow? So keeping your records is really one of the big things that you need to do. And then that comes after setting the budget. So you need to keep your receipts. You need to keep receipts, especially receipts for big purchases. If you buy an asset, you buy a TV, you buy big things, you need to keep those receipts. Some people keep even the receipts for shopping. But what I say about those is once you come and record, you may not need to keep them. Otherwise, you'll have volumes and volumes of files. And I think a lot of those papers even rub off with time. But at least if you come and record, you have, assuming in your budget, you set up a section for groceries, maybe a section for an amount for groceries, an amount for shopping, an amount for electricity, for gas, what. So once you purchase, you then come and record against each of those items. And then that way you just need to look at it. And as you record, please have a cup of tea or a glass of some nice juice that you're sipping in so that you're enjoying what you're doing. If you just look at your record there and it's annoying you as you look at the money, it won't bring very good feelings to you. So do it as you're enjoying yourself and just keep that record, and you will see how easy it gets to manage your money. So, and that then brings us to the habit of tracking. So after you've set up your budget and you've recorded these amounts you're spending against each of the line items, you need to know, where am I doing better? Where am I going overboard? You could be going overboard in a place like shopping. If you go overboard in shopping, there's only so much you can do because you must buy the necessities. But if you want to buy something which is not a necessity, now you ask yourself a question: do I need this? If I don't need it, then let me not buy it. We'll buy it, next month. And you're able to communicate that very easily with your family. So tracking is empowering yourself because it helps you know where you're putting in, money in the wrong places. I found myself, passing through a Vivo shop, and every week they put in different colors. So you find today is all yellow, tomorrow is all orange. Very nice looking stuff that causes you to just want to get in. But they once you purchase one item, two items, and you realize the next week again they brought other more beautiful stuff, you are able to remind yourself, I've already exhausted my budget for clothes this month, so let's meet next month. Let's see what you're doing next month. So that way you're already empowered, you're already free. You don't have to go spending what you don't have. So the other thing is about saving, and that's point number 4. And the Bible says in Proverbs 27:12 that the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Saving is actually paying yourself. When you're buying goods or you're, paying your house help or whoever you're buying from, you're making money for them. You're buying clothes from a shop. That person is in business. So you're making money for them as you buy from them. But when you're saving, you're keeping money away for yourself to liberate you. So that the time you need the money, there is a need. Now you don't have to go borrowing. You just get the money from your savings and meet whatever the need is. Like now we are about to go paying school fees. Some people would go for a loan, others would go for different ways to get money to pay school fees. But knowing that you knew that school fees would come, prudence says that it is coming. So can you be keeping money aside every month? Keep money aside for school fees, and once that is the day for paying school fees comes, you just go and pull it out and settle it. It is not as easy as I'm putting, but I know that it starts slowly, little steps. Even if you put in 100 shillings, 100 shillings times 30 is 3,000 that month, times 12 is 36,000. So by the end of the year, you'll be having 36,000, which is in a lump sum. You didn't have it. but just by saving 100 shillings every day. So it's just little steps, and soon you find that you have a full a saving that can help you to liberate you. And normally the experts say that you need an emergency fund that can cover your expenses for 3 to 6 times of your monthly expenses. Obviously, this is you must be able to first determine what your monthly expenses are, multiply, and then start a step at a time. It's just slowly, and soon you'll realize, you mean I could do this? Even 500 shillings a month, 500 shillings a month times 12 is 6,000. At the end of the year with 6,000, there's something you can buy. You can take your family for lunch. They will be very happy. So and that doesn't mean you've not been buying them lunch, but particularly this day you are having money that you feel is in lump sum and you have saved it. It's time to maybe enjoy it with your family. So these things are saving actually turns a crisis into a convenience, because you sort out that issue with ease. Even if like I'm giving an example of school fees, if you have saved for it, it becomes so much easier to go and pay school fees because you already kept the money. If there is a need in the family, it becomes so much easier for you to come up and assist because you've put money aside. And Proverbs 21:20 says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp their own. So saving is a very important it's very important tool for getting into financial freedom. And even the Bible is very clear that don't go eating everything, keep some. It doesn't mean you love money when you're saving. You're not denying people what they need to you're not denying people food, your family food. You're not denying them. Don't deny them, but just put aside a little. I've explained, even 100 shillings a day. It won't cost, too much, depending on what is your outlay, but at least it will get into a pool that helps to save money for you. So the other thing is now investment. Once you've saved, where do you keep this money? Do you just leave it lying in a bank account? Because if you keep it lying in a bank account, it will just stay there and the bank will keep making money with it, because they will lend it to the ones who want to borrow and they'll make money with it. So we need that once you save your money, you invest it. And there are many ways to invest your money. There's simply like M-Pesa, M-Shwari has created an account, a lock savings account. You just push in 100 shillings, push in whatever you have, and soon you find you've created a pool, slowly, and it gives you the statements. It gives you, every time you're saving, it actually has a clock. So it shows you where you're still going closer to your goal. So slowly, you're able to save your money. The other avenues, like saving with the money market, or even saving with and a lot of money markets are given by the insurance companies, and they'll give you interest at the end of every month. Interest is assigned, and you can see your money growing. If you get 200 shillings, did you have it? You didn't have it, and you just put in maybe 10,000 shillings or so. So slowly, funds build. And even the wealthy, they start like that. They don't keep money to themselves. In fact, a lot of the wealthy people don't have cash with themselves. They put all of it away. Their bank accounts mainly are empty. They keep the money away into investments. It's until they need that money that they go pull it out. So we want ourselves to get into that level of financial freedom. And you don't have to, you don't want to keep borrowing. Maybe you're borrowing your husband every minute and they are asking you, what did you do with the other money I gave you? When, especially if you are given an allowance, because I think even if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's important that you are given an allowance if your husband can be cooperative enough or can just understand that giving you an allowance is actually liberating you and freeing himself from maybe having to deal with the nitty-gritties every day of the house. But once it is given, spend it in the most ideal way, so that then you're able to just save some, and maybe even at some point you're the one who will help him out when he's stuck. So I think the point is that, being very careful with what you have, being very frugal as you spend, being very deliberate on how you want to put your money to use, so that then you're able to invest. There's actually something called sometimes called free money. It's not free money as such, but you find maybe somebody paid for you lunch. You had money for lunch that day. You were in town and you need to have lunch, but then you meet with a friend and they buy you lunch. That's money you have saved. Where do you take that money? Do you then go and say, oh, now let's go and buy, more, I don't know, pass by there and buy something else? No, that is money you can save. And you'll find that is actually what results into a very good pool of funds somewhere. Try and keep a record of the money that you sometimes save could have been, or even somebody visits you and brings you shopping, but you would have spent money to buy that shopping. What do you do with that particular amount that they have brought? Keep it away. You will realize how much money you can save. Of course, it's easier said than done, but once you start a habit, you practice it, and then you start seeing how money is growing in that account where you saved it, you will really start feeling, oh, this is taking me towards somewhere. So keep saving and keep investing. There are many other ways to invest, of course. When you have pools of funds, you can invest in property and things like land. And land, always look at buying land that you can afford, because it becomes a springboard to the future. It becomes a springboard to another land you would have wanted today, but you can't afford. But first you buy where you can afford, then you move to where you can in time, maybe in several years, then again, you're able to move to that other side of town that you had wanted to go. So I think what I'm saying is, once you save, make sure you invest the money and invest it in a place where it is appreciating or increasing in through interest, so that then you're able to have a pool of funds to use in the future. I actually have a story I give about a place that once I bought land, a small piece of, for very little money, and forgot it. I even forgot it. But with time, then I had a very special need, and I remembered I have land somewhere, only to go and find it has really, really appreciated. And for sure, it came and sorted my problem that I had. So don't underestimate anything. Wherever it is, just do what you can afford at that time. You don't know how it will help you in the future. So the other thing is about managing debts. This is number 6. A lot of the people who've really, grown and are wealthy, a lot of them have debts. Some use debt to manage their taxes. Others actually need the debt to grow, because there is good debt and there is bad debt. If you are borrowing to grow, to invest, that is good debt. If you are borrowing to consume is to pay school fees, to buy food, to buy clothes, that is bad debt. And this is the type of, this is why I'm saying save for something. Even school fees, imagine, as important as it is, but borrowing to pay school fees is something you can manage. You can borrow, of course, the time you must, but if you plan yourself better, you can keep, maybe every few months you keep 5,000 aside. or how much money you decide. You check how much the school fees is, divide it by the number of months that you need to save it, keep it slowly, you'll find that you don't need to borrow to pay school fees. So the point is, when you borrow and if you're being charged interest, then you're enriching somebody else. And, you know, when you enrich somebody else and you're the one who is struggling, because you get into a cycle, you're always, so every time to meet all your expenses, you must add on some money for borrowing. But if you start by budgeting, then recording and tracking, you'll be able to take care of your money and be able to even save some for these other expenditures that have been causing you to borrow. So obviously, once you borrow, you need to pay. If you don't pay, you know, there is, I think nowadays a CRB, and even I think Mshwari can also take you to CRB. You might find you can never borrow anywhere else. But again, even as I mentioned, Mshwari, I would be saying avoid things like Mshwari because they're very, very expensive. Fuliza, Shylock, all those, they're very expensive. They don't sound it, but the moment they're taking 200 shillings from you just for 1 month or just for a few days after borrowing, they are really, really very expensive loans. So if you can, just avoid them. In fact, pay them and then manage the money that you're left with. Even if it's however little it is, you'll find there's always something to buy with it. So the other point is on borrowing, and I guess that's what I was speaking about in terms of avoid places like Shylocks, avoid you know, I think there's a lot of mobile money coming through from the banks. Very easy loans. I think there's even one from Equity that is as simple as dial star to what, and money comes to you. It's been advertised somewhere, you know, even up to 3 million. Like, of course, I guess you can't get 3 million if you don't have a good record with them. But whatever amount they are telling you they will lend to you, it is very expensive money. So manage your money towards avoiding that. Once you pay off your debts, don't go back there again. Just work with what you have. Another point is on giving, and that is point number 8. You know, the Bible says God loves a cheerful giver in 2 Corinthians 9:7. And Jesus also taught that it's better to give than to receive in Acts 20:35. As you give, then you will receive. And again, once you have set a budget and set this is the amount, once you set up a budget, put in an amount for giving. Put in so that once it's, you know, somebody has a need, somebody has lost a relative, somebody has done whatever different types. Just don't give excessively so that all the money you had set aside, maybe you had put it in your budget, 10,000 or 5,000, you give all of it. No, just give slowly in a way that you can afford, but at least be available for other people's needs. And you will find that as you give, you're kind of investing. Giving is like a social investment because somehow that person will remember you give them. And even if they don't, you did your part because all you're doing is you're giving back to either to your friends, to people you know, to the community, but make giving part of your budget. And of course, give in a way that you can afford. Don't, I've seen a group where people are collecting money and they say, don't give less than 5,000. You look at it and you're like, okay, they could be having a lot of money, but I think there's no need to limit. Let people give what they can, because once you limit like that, then you'll cause even somebody who had less to decide not to give. And if you don't have that 2,000 that other person would have given you, then you'll still be short of money. So just give what you can. Don't pressure yourself to give more than you can afford, but at least be open to giving to other people. On point number 9 is on making money. So once you find that the money you have is not enough, you can start a small other thing that you do, a side hustle. If you are operating from maybe an allowance that your husband gives you, and you start a small business, if he would allow you to start a small business, so that then you're able to sell, to sell something and do something that you love. I know many people start from different places, even before they discover what they really love. They try all different types of businesses. It's good that you first find what you love to do. If you love kitchen items, then specialize on getting the kitchen items, like nice cutlery that they would love to keep in their kitchens. Whatever you love to do a business along that side, then you will be able to create some new little money that you can add into your pool of money. And you realize with time, it can bring in so much more money that will give you the freedom we're talking about. Because this freedom won't just come once. For it to come once, unless you hit a jackpot, or we have seen, corrupt people, suddenly they have all these many different cars, or are moving from this side of town to the other side of town. Now, we're not talking about that kind of money. We're talking about just making little money, and you get very happy as you grow your income. You start from here, you can say, I did this, I got here, I did this, I got here, I did this, I got here. It's very exciting. So do it that way. Don't do something that will cause you to look over your shoulder, who is coming, whose money do I have? Just do what you can confidently say, I did this, and even God knows that this I did it, and He will bless the work of your hands. You don't need to go doing things which will cause you to look over your shoulder. And we are Christians, so we already know that those such things are wrong. So stand by your truth, just do the right thing, and you will find that all these blessings will come following you. So interest income definitely is a very good source of additional money, even if it comes in a bob. There is an account I ever opened, and it was, the way you're told, dial star for, I think it's dial star for something, hash, I don't remember the number, but it's still a money market, but you don't need any paperwork. You just dial that number and you're able to open an account, and they're showing you every month how much money you have. The first interest was 0.90 because I just tested it with 100 shillings. But imagine when I add another 100, another 1,000, another one, soon I'll be earning, some small monies. But it is not small, because with time it compounds and it becomes a lot of money. And once I get to realize that it works, I'll even put a little more. So it just becomes a habit that you do. You get used to it, and you realize you have all this money that you can put together to do to meet your needs, especially the unexpected needs that come, which we are really never prepared for. Point number, I think this could be the 10th one, is on managing risks. Manage risks are these unexpected outcomes that will come. We didn't know that something would happen, but then it happens. And managing risks is very, very important. And one way to manage risks is using insurance. I don't sell insurance, but I know that using insurance is such a liberation for the family. And whether it is yourself who will purchase the insurance, or it is your spouse, encourage the people around you and yourself to purchase insurance. Insurance, especially like for education. I have a case example of, buying insurance when the baby is very small, when the baby is just a few months, even from maternity. There are people who almost need to wait for you when you're at maternity, or actually some insurance people wait for you in the supermarket and they see you with a kid. There's one who ever approached me, and I was with my small baby, and he told me, have you got insurance for this child? Fortunately, I had. But I've seen that now as the child gets to, this school going and the maturity stage where they are now living they're getting into these upper classes of primary school, school fees can be a bit expensive. So if you have an insurance and it starts paying you, can you imagine how it feels? So you've been paying small amounts, very small, you don't even forget, and ensure that everything you do, especially saving and paying insurance, is automatic. It comes out of your bank account automatically. You're not the one to go and distribute that one. Let it just come out automatically, because once it comes out automatically, it's not part of the money you're distributing. So once you have insurance and you have education policy, and especially education policy, which we are sure as moms we will pay school fees at some point. So that really liberates you. And you can start with the first policy, you'll be paying maybe 1,000 because that's what you can afford. The next one, after several years, you can now buy another one for 2,000, or you are the one who knows your money. You're the one who knows what income outlay you have. So don't despise the small amounts. Don't despise the beginning of, I can only afford 2,000, it is okay. Whatever you can afford, buy your insurance, because that helps to manage your risks. Of course, the other way of managing risks is that saving and then investing, because once you have put this money away, the day you have now special need, then you will just go back to those funds and you will be able to pick them and be able to meet the specific need you have. And because you've already created a habit of saving, a habit of investing, then you'll create the next set of funds. So every time you have a pool of funds that you can use to meet your emergencies, and again create the next emergency after you have used that emergency for whatever reason. Sometimes you will even find that once you start saving for an emergency, the emergencies don't even happen. It is when you don't have, that is when all these many needs come. But if you're already keeping money away, because you're already on top of your game, you're already on top of your money, so you're never finding yourself stuck. So that way, then even this emergency you created, you will never need it. Another thing, and this is in addition to budgeting, if you want to buy something, you want to buy a TV, you want to buy something, save for it. Decide, you have already started seeing this TV is getting old, or what technology has changed. The technology for TV is changing every other minute, so you can't keep up with it. But I'm talking about even if you want to buy your kitchen items, or you want to buy something that will require a big purchase, you want to change the curtains in your house, just put the money aside slowly, and by the time you now need to use it 6 months later or 12 months later, you'll have created a pool. Even if you find this item is much more expensive, at least this money you saved will first bridge you, then you'll only need to add a little more. So now, in summary, it is that you need to manage every shilling that comes to you. We are basically what we are just stewards of God's resources. We have all seen that these resources are for using here. As we leave this world, of which one day we all will live, is that we've seen that it's all left here. So all we're doing is really managing resources, managing God's resources, and we have our eternity to pursue, but do it in the best way possible, because the Bible is not short of the trainings of how to manage our money. It has told us about how to plan. It has told us about how to spend. It has told us about how to store and save. All these things are written there. So God knows that we shall need resources to manage, to live our lives. We shall need this money as a medium of exchange, so that it will allow us to obtain the things that we need to live. So we just need to manage it better. And as I said, as I started, there is never too much money. There's never a little money. The money you have can be enough. If at all, you can just sit down and set up your budget, keep your record and track. Because it's not just budgeting. I've seen people with a budget and yeah, every month, in fact, even as people are shopping, they have a shopping list. But that is like a budget, a plan. But now we're talking about the full plan for the running your house, the full plan for how you run your family. And then take the next step further, record. The next step further, track. That way, you will realize that you any money, all the money you have is enough. And if you have a shortfall, you'll now know how much is your shortfall. You're not finding yourself in a bigger shortfall because maybe you spent more money in buying clothes and buying shoes. Like we women always want to, you're shown shoes. In fact, some come selling them very to you wherever you are, or even you are finding beautiful, nice looking things. You must caution yourself. If you don't caution yourself, you'll find you're picking everything. So shortly you have this big shortfall in your budget. You have this big shortfall as you get from the money that was in your outlay, and now you have to go and borrow. So what I'm telling us is, let's reduce borrowing as much as we can through budgeting, tracking, and recording and tracking. And then the rest now follow. That you will invest, you will save, you will invest, and then you will be free. So you can live comfortably with just what you have. All you need is to plan it. So to us, basically, is more like homework. Go set up a budget. Go list out all the costs which you normally incur in a month. You can use 1 month as the start by first recording everything you're incurring in a month, so that then next month you're now able to budget with it. And even after what you're incurring, you'll be able to start seeing, no, this one, I don't need it. This one, sorry, I'm having a call coming in. Let me just do that. And I also put it on silent. Sorry for that. Yeah, so you list your expenses that you incur in a month. Use the first month as the base month. Then you start seeing what can you do, what can you avoid, what could you use differently. Like now times are hard. We've seen very high costs of everything. Can you imagine if already it wasn't fitting before? What will happen now? You need to seriously plan, to record and track, so that then you're able to, instead of complaining, you be grateful to God that you even have this money that you can put together and be able to meet your needs. So yes, and the other one is list all your expected, whatever you expect to spend within the month. And basically with that, you will be able to really be in control of your funds and to be really in control of your own finances. And you will really feel financially free because you're the one who is controlling. It's not controlling you. The shops are not controlling you. The sellers are not. It is you who is deciding, I can do this, this I can do, this I cannot do. So basically, Warimo, that's a summary of my quick tips, about 10 of them. I hope I was able to give all of them in a way they can be found as 10, but basically they were all 10 habits. They're all tools that we need to manage our finances. And to be very sincere, after that, you will realize that it is you, only you who can control it. It is not anybody else who will do it for you. It is only you. So thank you very much, Werimo, for the time. Yes.
Yeah. I'll clap on behalf of every mother who is listening and every lady who's listening. You actually have a lot of ladies who've been following this conversation on Facebook, a lot of comments, and also some questions, which I'm going to ask. But I love that you said these 10 may look a lot and maybe challenging at a glance, but you're saying start with the first three. Start with the budgeting, then make sure you keep records and then track. So you're not even telling us first going to savings and investments. You're saying if you have never, start with the budgeting. And part of the way you start with the budgeting is like you've said, just decide, today is 7th, decide from today 7th till 7th of May that you're going to continue behaving how you normally behave, but write down how you're spending your money. Then sit down on 8th of May and now start seeing what is your behavior around money, and it will also guide how you spend, so you see what you're going to remove and what it is that you're going to keep. So thank you for simplifying. I mean, when you're a finance coach, you've simplified in the way that you can be able to understand both those who already are budgeting and those who have never started. In fact, we had one comment from Ruth who said, keeping records is a difficult habit to keep. I'll try again. So for somebody who, like you're telling us, sit down with the records and take juice or take a cup of tea, is there any motivation except that you can give somebody who wants to restart a habit that they pull down? Is there a beginning point for somebody like that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Werimo, and thank you very much for that question from the one who has asked it. Yes, it is a difficult task, because it means then you must be very, very, you must caution yourself every time, you must be very orderly. But one way to make it, to simplify it, to do it often. Don't wait and keep your records at the end of the month or at the end of a week. You'll be tired. Just make it that if you can every day, record and make, if you use Excel and you come and just, set up a record where you record for what? Shopping. Today I went for shopping and on this date and this amount. Just setting some nice records. We use even colors, because that is really one of the things I train people. Just how to do it in a very beautiful way, so that then once you always want to come and record it, because you know why, and also keep your goal in mind. Remember why you're doing it. Why am I doing it? Because that is what will cause you to come and record it. You want to keep away, to remain with some money to see. So keep, ensure your why is very clear. Number 2, do it, in an enjoyable way. Make your nice Excel sheet and record into it, or your nice book that you have, you set up as for records. But I wouldn't encourage you to use a book. I would rather that you use something like Excel if you can, because it's much easier to manipulate. It's much easier to add up totals. It's much easier to know what you can drop off. And also, yes, have a cup of tea, have some music. Just the way we are sitting here, 10 minutes or 5 minutes. You tell people, let me first go and, do something up wherever your room, in my room. 10 minutes, imagine you'll have recorded everything. Every day, you have to have your time. The time that you say is your me time. Whatever you do with your me time, one of it is to manage your money. So it's really how you decide to do it, but it can be done, and it's doable. So just go back to that good habit, and you'll see how it will liberate you, and keep track of your why. I think that is really the biggest thing. Why do you want to do it? You want to keep money to save? Then you will see that you will want to do it more and more. Yeah, thank you.
I like that you've said about, thinking about your why are you saving? Because if you think of especially because we are speaking to moms right now, what are those experiences that you want your children to have? Maybe it's even schools. There's a dream school you've had for your child. Part of why you're having all these habits accumulated over time is so that you also, as you are enjoying yourself, you also allow your children to have good life experiences. So when you have a clear why you're doing something, it's easier for you to, pick the cup of tea and actually track and keep records, because in the end, that 1,000, like you said, for 12 months, 12K is money that you can do a lot with at the end of the year. So there's another question, and this one is always asked. I think wherever there is a financial coach, somebody who is bound to ask this question, and that's on tithing. What percentage should we tithe? So as a lady who is also a believer, what do you tell your clients?
Wow. Tithing is one thing that we are not required to debate about, because tithing, we are told, is taking back to God, back to the storehouse. There's normally no debate about it. The Bible is clear that it is 10% of your income, of your first fruit. So yes, I know a lot of people try to bargain with God and bargain that, everything is not coming to my hands. Some of it I'm using to pay loans. Some of it, all these many reasons why we are not being able to tithe at 10% of our gross. But I think you would be debating with God if you're not doing that. So if you're ready to debate with God, then you can go and debate, but you also know that you shouldn't debate with God. So I think it's really a personal decision. It is because even once you take, even the church or wherever you take your tithe, they never really ask you how much do you earn. They're not keeping any record. It is between you and God. Yeah. So there are many different people who have different ways they have summarized it. I know it is one of those very difficult things. I know even me, I struggle sometimes. I will pay my tithe, but that debate will always want to come into your mind. But I think that one, there's nothing else I could say except to say that the Bible is very clear on how much you are required to tithe. But if you feel you want to debate with God, you debate. You're the one who, it is clear, everything is written in the Bible. It's a very difficult question, but yes, the answer to that is just do what is right.
Yeah. And I think what you've said is we are stewards. So everything belongs to God. It's not even ours. He's just given us to enjoy life where we are here, because there are things we are not going to take up when we join him in heaven. So he's just saying, give back of the things I have given you, give back 10%. So he's not even, it's all his, all 100%. He's just asking for 10%. But having said that, I know part of the struggle is because if you had poor money management, it means then you don't have money left to give to him, which is why the debate comes. But if we implement even the top 3, you'll be able to track and see where you're spending money that could otherwise have gone back to the Lord. And he has, placed a promise on the tithe that he'll open the floodgates of heaven. So claim, I always say when you're giving your tithe, and I wasn't also a good tither, always pray and just thank God for everything he's given you, and may he bless that and it comes, back. So we can also pray as you're giving, because God knows when you're struggling. It's not that it's new to him. It's not a surprise to him. Edith mentioned that she really benefited from education policies. And I don't know whether, because you also are an expert in the insurance industry, why should people, and especially mothers, not fear investing in education policies for their children?
Good question. Yes, I have noticed that a lot of people don't understand insurance, and I was actually speaking with these people, the people who really do insurance, and a lot of education is really needed. The thing about an insurance policy is that at the end of it, all that money you've put into the policy, you will receive it back in one way or another. In fact, you'll receive it back plus interest. But people never understand that. I know a lot of people, especially our parents and the people of the older age, is that there were policies, I think, in earlier times that would never give you back the money, all the money that you have put aside. But with people becoming much more knowledgeable, they were able to ask that question. And insurance policies nowadays are crafted in a way that you will always get back the money you've put in plus interest. And it is no longer an issue about that when you die is when it will be paid. No, it is paid to be you are, you're speaking life to yourself. So you're not speaking death at death, it will be paid to my people. No, we are speaking life. We are speaking, as I continue living, it will come to help pay my bills, my education policies, my education for the children. And so all I can say is you put in small amounts. Every month there is an installment premium that you're supposed to pay. But after several years now, when the need is there, because they will always tell you after it has to take several years, it has to take 10 years. If it doesn't take about 10 years, it won't have enough money to pay whatever you need to pay. And what were you doing 10 years ago? Yeah. Werimo here is telling us she wants to celebrate her 45. What does that mean? 35 years ago, she was with her babies. If she had put in this money, so we are saying you just take the step of faith, speak life to yourself, then plan, manage your risks ahead. So I would encourage anybody to have an insurance policy, and especially an education policy for us as moms, for our children, because that will really, really liberate you as you start paying school fees when the time comes.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, because at the end, it's not fair for our children to struggle because of our poor choices or our selfish choices. The Proverbs 31 woman was really prudent with her money, which is why she was able to also buy land, although she's a fictional character. But at the end, it just shows what God expects of us as women, that we can also be able to purchase property. You said that you don't have to necessarily buy property because you live in it. Just like your story, it can help you another time. It can just be part of your investment story. I wanted to share with mothers who are listening, who maybe struggle with school fees, because I was, in the school business for 23 years. And one of the advice we used to give our parents is, if you know you struggle, don't come the last week to say, I don't have money. Yeah, because that happens often. We always used to tell them, start paying like 2 months before. So if the term, for example, is starting in May, you should have started in March, or you should have started in February a little, March a little, finished in April, just before your child goes into the May term. So I know our pockets are different, but also there's a desire for you to have your child in a good school, but then you also have to have these good habits. And part of how you'll know the amount of money you can pay in installments earlier is through the budgeting and keeping records, and also tracking, so that you do not want, we used to tell parents, you don't want your child to ever know that you're struggling. Don't allow your child to know you're struggling. There's no school owner who sits and is excited to send children home or not pick them at the bus. But a lot of us as parents today, we are so selfish. We'd rather have the car than pay school fees for our children. But what you're saying through today's conversation is that it all begins with how we manage our money. And if this collection of good habits that you've given us, if we just apply and say, in the month of May, I'm going to master budgeting. In the month of, just go step by step, because you said let me read that. You said little steps. It's a step at a time. So the same with the habits. Don't pile them all together. Even the atomic habits say the same. Just start with one at a time. Just have mastery for one at a time. There's been a lot of great insights here from Fatma. A lot of ladies who are watching and are in agreement to what you've taught us. There's a mother that you mentioned, the stay-at-home mom, who is completely dependent on her spouse. We have two types of homes. We have homes where the husband will listen, and homes where the husband will not listen. So maybe the easiest one is the one whose husband can listen. So she needs an account of, we call it, in my circle, we call it a dumb account, don't ask me account. It's money for me and my needs. So that's an easier conversation to have. Now, speak to this woman who is just struggling to have that conversation. What else can she do so that she can work herself into financial empowerment?
Wow. Yeah. I'm just imagining that, everybody needs money. I mean, we've already seen that money is really the medium we need for exchange and even for living, for helping us to live this life. So if you have no even allowance, that don't ask me about it, then it is good that you create your own, collection of money from your, whether it is from friends. I mentioned some money. That's a money that people receive, which they don't even realize they receive. Very more. That is money that maybe you were going to have lunch, and somebody decides to buy for you that lunch. That is money you keep away and save it, because you need, slowly you'll realize that you can put in away money slowly, and shortly you'll have money. The other thing is, then if you have a friend who can, give you some money or lend you some money, and which is not going to have high interest and is going to be, they can give you time to do a small business. I'm assuming in this case, then the spouse will allow the person to do a small business if they can. But if they really won't allow you, I think you must need to find a time to speak with your spouse and try and understand how does he expect, what is his expectation of you, and you try and align what is your expectation of yourself, and see where you can get the middle ground. Because I really can't see why this, a spouse would want you to just stay with nothing except you sitting back there at home. So whatever they will be putting and trusting on you, they can, maybe you can negotiate and get some income to yourself, the DAM account, if you can reach there. If not, then, save from your, whatever you're being given by your friends, your relatives, just keep it aside. Don't be given and shortly you're buying all the, you go to the next shop and pick something. And do you realize the things we just pick like that, we don't even use them? You go buying a comb because you saw a brush, but yet you have another brush, but you've just not been using it. Just because this one is orange, the one you have at home is blue. So it's just the little things that we do that cause us to get into the same small, that hole. But if you decide you're liberating yourself, you will save any money that is given to you. You keep it into an account, and the money market accounts, there are no charges. You just make interest, and shortly you'll have some money to yourself. One day you could surprise your husband with the money, and wonder, where did you get this from? But I think you can be open enough as you continue, and as when you find the right time to speak about it. Yeah, Warimo, that's what I could say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And also, in addition to that, I would say pray before you have that conversation, because part of why, you're scared of him is that you've placed him, in such a pedestal above God. And also there's abuse. Talk to your friends. In fact, today I've learned that word, free money. I think we've wasted so much free money. And for those who joined a little later, Edith was talking about free money. The way she said, your friend buys you coffee, you are to buy for yourself. That 300 bob, 150, that's money that you can throw into maybe your Mshwari account or somewhere, because you are to spend it anyway. So that's, I live with that as a challenge to how much free money I have wasted. Edith, I'm so thankful. Thank you for God giving you that passion to teach people how to manage their money, and not just manage for the sake of it or to tick somewhere, is so that they can work towards financial freedom. We all want to be in a position where our money works for us, but it starts with those habits that we have been given. For those who joined later, just once we end this live broadcast, just replay from the beginning so that you are able to take those 10 good habits. And she says the top 3, the first 3 are the most important ones to master at the beginning. The rest will be easier. Edith, I'm so thankful that you've spent the evening with us. Thank you so much. May the Lord bless you, and may he, expand this work that you're doing. The more families we have that are financially empowered, the better society, because then we are able to build wealth and we are able to then allow our children to have good experiences. So thank you, ladies. Please leave your encouragement on the comments section for Edith so that she can read after this as she's having her coffee or her tea. I don't know which one you love, but thank you so much for this time. Fatma says she's truly grateful for your time, and I echo that, and I'm sure there are many others who believe the same. So thank you, ladies, for spending the evening with us. For those who are going to watch the replay, as always, #replay. Edith, do you have a course maybe people can plug in? Because I know this was just a few minutes of the wealth of knowledge that you have. Is there a way that ladies can engage with you beyond this conversation?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so if you follow, I have a website and I have an Instagram page, and I call myself at Fetri Consulting on Instagram, and Fetri Consulting, www.fetriconsulting.com is my website. There you'll find a way to interact with me. And once I put up a program, I do one-on-one coaching more, where we can sit and set up your records, set up how you will be updating your records, and how you will then put away money for investing. So that is what I do more. But once I put up a program, if you're following me on those pages, then you'll be able to get me, you'll be able to catch up with me when I put up a more public program. But for now, what I do is coach you one-on-one, how to set up your budgets, how to set up your records, and how to keep track, and how to split your income between save, invest, all those things. So we work together, we agree on the habits, and then you walk the journey yourself. And I believe that once you do that, you will really, really be liberated.
Yeah. All right. So Edith, we are going to share your website, and we're going to share your IG handle so that the ladies can be able to follow you. I suggest you do, ladies, because can we move from this, victim mentality to empowering ourselves? We said we need to get wisdom, we need to get understanding. The journey to your financial freedom has begun with the information that has been shared today. So Florence has said very enlightening, many thanks. Ruth has also said many thanks. So I also want to end with many thanks. And again, may God bless you. And please, ladies, reach out. Financial empowerment and going towards financial freedom is something that will not just benefit you, it will also benefit your children. And as mothers, at the end of the day, it's all about our babies. So let's do good for them. So thank you so much. God bless you. And we can't wait to have this conversation with you again.